splendor of the King, clothed in majesty, let all the earth rejoice, all the earth rejoice. He wraps himself in light, and darkness tries to hide, and trembles at his voice, and trembles at his voice. How great is our God! Sing with me, how great is our God! And all will see how great is our God. And age to age he stands, and time is in his hands, beginning and the end, beginning and the end. The Godhead three in one, Father, Spirit, Son, the Lion and the Lamb, the Lion and the Lamb. How great is our God! Sing with me, how great is our God! And all will see how great is our God. Name above all names, worthy of all praise. My heart will sing, how great is our God. How great is our God. Sing with me, how great is our God. And all will see how great is our God. How great is our God. Sing with me, how great is our God. And all will see how great is our God.
The absolute basics of the Christian faith. What is salvation? So God's motivation is love, and his goal is to make us family again. But there's a problem. We haven't seen the way that God accomplishes his goal. Because of our disobedience, we're left with disrupted relationship and death. We can't have right relationship with God forever because of sin, and sin's consequences are an obstacle. So how does God remove this boulder from the path back to him? We can think about it a little bit like this. God's motivation is love, God's goal is making us family again, and God's way of dealing with disrupted relationship and death is through Jesus' death and resurrection. There are two main ways of understanding what Jesus did to save us: reconciliation and rescue. Reconciliation means restoring relationship. Rescue means saving us from danger. And Jesus did both. He reconciled us back to God, and he rescued us from evil and death. So how did he do that? Well, when there's a rift in a relationship, you often have to offer something to make peace. Maybe it's just an apology, or maybe it's a note or a gift. Imagine you went to a friend's house for Thanksgiving dinner, and all the food was laid out on the table, the turkey and the stuffing and the gravy and all the sides and the desserts, and you decide to try out for the first time a magic trick. You're going to try and pull the tablecloth out from under all the food in one swoop, and everybody says don't do it, but you do it anyway, and, as you might expect, all the food tumbles down onto the floor. The turkey and the gravy and the mashed potatoes are all ruined. Now in this case, you really would have messed up, so you'd need to make it up to your friend that cooked the dinner. And the best way to do that would be for you to cook a Thanksgiving meal at your own house and invite everyone over. But what if you can't cook? And what if you don't have anything to offer to make it up to your friend? Well, that's a little bit like what our situation was with God. We had disobeyed God's law, but didn't have anything to offer God to make it up to him. So Jesus came and offered a sacrifice to God on our behalf. Jesus made it up to the Father by giving himself as a perfect offering. And this is what happens on the cross. Jesus sacrificed himself to pay, once and for all, the penalty for our disobedience. He took our place, took our punishment, and offered himself to the Father. And this took care of the disrupted relationship, but it didn't solve the punishment for sin, which was death. Jesus' resurrection is what solves this problem. Jesus was killed and then came back to life as the first example of what will happen to us as well. Jesus shows us that death isn't the end of the story. God's goal was to have us part of his family, and that goal can't be defeated by death, because we will be resurrected just like Jesus. Here's another example. Let's say that you and your family have been kidnapped by a mad scientist and kept in a secret fortress. You try everything you can to escape, but everything fails. The government has been trying to free you, but every attempt to attack the base is repelled by the mad scientist's powerful weapons, so you're stuck. But you hold out hope because you have a brother who's a top military agent. You know that if anybody can save you, he will. Then one day the guards throw open the prison doors and toss in your last hope, your brother, the secret agent. And he's so badly beaten it's barely recognizable, so you all begin to cry. Your last hope for rescue has been captured, but your brother lurches to his feet and smiles at you. And with great pain, he begins to pull out of his own body tools for picking the locks of the cell. He gets to work, opens the cell doors, and leads the way to freedom. What seemed like the darkest moment was actually part of his rescue plan. Well, this is what Jesus did. In Matthew 6:18, Jesus says that not even the gates of hell will stand against the church. And the way Jesus defeats the enemy of death is in the most unexpected way of all. He defeats death by dying. Jesus descends to the realm of the dead and breaks free again, opening the way for us all. We might even say, with the nails of the cross, Jesus picks the locks of the gates of hell. So this is how Jesus solves our two big problems. He reconciles us back to God by being a perfect sacrifice for our sins, and he defeats the power of death in his resurrection.